Okay, I'm ready.
This meeting is being recorded.
Good evening, everyone. This is the December 11th, 2023 Trustees meeting of the Douglas Library of Hebron. It is approximately 7:05 p.m. I'm Peter Casarella, acting chairperson this evening, and at this point, we will start the meeting. Trusella, before we go to the pledge, would you please take account of which directors are online with us?
We have Marianne MA is on board. Foot, we have Sue Porter and Danaher, and Dale is on as well, plus you, Peter. So that's 5.
That's 5. Good. Okay, so we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody would join in, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Public comment. Is there anyone out there from the public who would like to speak? Hearing none, we will go right to the secretary's report. I trust everyone has had an opportunity to review the minutes of October 16th. Are there any suggested changes, additions, or deletions?
I abstain. I was not at the meeting.
Okay, wait a minute. We didn't vote yet. Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
So move.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so
Yes, I'll second.
Thank you. Been moved and seconded.
And I abstained.
And Dale abstains. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Abstaining also. This is Sue.
So I got two abstentions.
So
and
for the board clerks, the board clerk is not here tonight. She's sick, but she's going to be doing this from the recording. If everybody could please state their name when they vote so she can have an accurate record. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Okay, MA, you're first. For, against, or abstain?
Oh, I'm for.
Sue Porter, for, against, or abstain?
Abstain.
Ian, for, against, or abstain?
For, thank you.
Dale, you abstain.
Abstain.
And I am for. So that, I believe, is a count of 3, 0, and 2. Thank you. Any reports from the Friends of Douglas Library?
They have not given me a report. I did hear that their book sale earlier, last month, I guess now, was one of their most successful ones, although I don't have an exact dollar amount for you. But they were very pleased with how well it went.
That's great to hear. Thank you. Do we have a town manager's representative out there?
That's me. It's Donna. I'm here. Okay, I can report that we are in the midst of CIP and going to start budget very soon. The budget letters should be going out to the departments either right before Christmas break or right after. But department heads should be actually thinking about budget and start planning now, even before those budget letters come out. And I think the board will be taking up the CIP budget a little bit later in this agenda. Drusilla and I did have a meeting, and Ann joined us with Novus, and so that everybody could be familiar with the services that Novus provides and just an update on progress on some of the special projects that we've been working on. One of which is the new full-time staff computer laptop setup. So those are in the process of being installed and set up. And also that also includes switching over a couple employees to Office 365, which will help us to ensure better file management, file backups, file sharing, and just some security, taking some extra security measures. And we continue to review the hardware and replacement schedule for all computers for all departments. We did receive a draft of the facility study that we're in the process of. There were a lot of areas that were lacking or incomplete, and it really wasn't in a format that we were comfortable disseminating at this time. We've gone back to Bureau Veritas, who is the company that we've contracted with to do this, and we're going back and forth with them now and trying to get those drafts updated. So we will share that information as soon as it is in a format that is something that we want to disseminate. It's very incomplete and lots of holes in it, so it just didn't make sense to share it yet. And I believe that is it for now. I could report that we had the Hebron holiday celebration on the 2nd, and it was a very nice event, nice day. Weather was great. I think everyone who attended had an excellent time. We ran out of hot cocoa, so I think that's a good thing. So next year we need to make more. We had long lines waiting for the children, waiting to see Santa Claus. They enjoyed all the activities, the crafts in the library. It was a very nice event. So probably 100, maybe 150 people were there. So it wasn't a mob scene, but it was a nice crowd and a steady crowd all day. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Any questions of Donna? Okay, we'll move on to the Board of Selectmen. Is Gail? I don't think Gail's here.
She's not a selectman anymore.
Ah, that's right. Okay, we'll have to ask Pat to tap the selectmen for a member.
So let me just jump in on that. They are reviewing their liaison assignments. And this is one of them that they're going to take a look at. So the way the library ordinance is written, the liaison to the board is the town manager or his designee, which is me. And then the other liaison is Drusilla. This is based on the library ordinance. One of the reasons Gail was acting in that role as liaison was because she was on the library board and she was on the Board of Selectmen. So it kind of made sense for her to bring information back and forth. But since the ordinance calls for the liaison to be the town manager or his designee, the selectmen are reviewing that, not just the library. They're reviewing a lot of the liaison assignments to see if there is a more efficient way without tying up selectmen's time when there's already a staff person that could be serving that role. And then letting everybody know that anytime a board or commission wants to be on the selectmen's agenda or have a selectman attend their meetings, that they can request that. So it's under review right now, but just to give you an update on that.
Thank you. Donna, I have a question though. That being the case, and if you continue on as the town manager's representative or the board's representative, does that mean we're short a person on the board? Or do you
Nope.
serve on the board?
I'm not on the board.
No,
So-
but
No.
we would
But
not be
Gail-
short a board member. Gail remains
Gail
on the
Richmond
library
is still
board.
on the board. Gail Richmond is still on the library board. She's not on the she's not on the Board of Selectmen.
But
Okay,
Gail,
got it.
This
Thank
is
you.
this position listed on the agenda, town manager's representative, that is really like, or not town manager, Board of Selectmen. That was like the liaison position. So right now, there's really two liaisons. Well, when Gail was on the board, there really were two liaisons with the Board of Selectmen, me and Gail, if that makes any sense.
since
If you
does
take a
make
look
sense.
at,
Thank
if you
you.
take a look at the ordinance, you'll see what I mean.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
But since Gail hasn't attended, I mean, we are on Zoom. Is there any way that Gail can join us? I mean, she is such a knowledgeable person
Oh,
about,
she gets the invite just as all other board members do. So, yeah, every board member gets the information for the Zoom meetings and can join us. And she remains a member of the library board. So she does have that option, as all board members do.
but she hasn't joined us for over a year.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, obviously, I haven't been here
I
long
know
enough,
she's had health issues and so forth,
but
but I
but
think
yeah,
it's,
that she certainly can always join us by Zoom, and why she doesn't,
I think
member of the
that,
board would need to speak to her.
I think that a lot of times it's just at this hour, Gail, if she's had a long day, sometimes it's difficult because she's still undergoing some physical therapy, and late in the evening is just difficult for her sometimes.
but it'd be nice to have some input from her at some time.
Okay, moving on to old business, meeting room policies.
Yes, so I sent you all the draft of the meeting room policy. Hang on, let me pull that up for you. Which you also had received prior to our November meeting, which didn't happen. So this is the draft meeting room use policy that I had come up with. It's substantially the same as the existing policy, but it does add a couple of things under the "this is not allowed" based on experience of other libraries, of things that people have decided to do in their meeting rooms. So it sort of spells that out even more carefully. And it does, I think, address, I know there were some issues that had, well, let's say some issues with the use of the meeting room in prior to my arrival. And I think this draft would address most of those. But so we're looking for feedback from the board to this draft policy.
Anyone have any comments for Drusilla? Anyone want to vote on the policy?
Peter, this is Sue. I do have a question. When people, with this policy, when a group or individual fills out the form that they want to reserve it, do they have to give you details of what they want to use the room for?
Yes, and that's true now. When they fill out the thing now, they say, you know, not like incredibly detailed, this is our agenda, but it does say, for example, we're going to have a Girl Scout troop, and that's going to involve singing songs and doing a craft, or, you know, something along those lines. So we have a vague idea, at least, what they're planning to do in the meeting room. So that's a current, they have to do that now as well. Let us know what they're, you know, are they planning on having a, I don't know, live auction or something? They have to specify that.
Okay, so I think one of the big issues in the past was when they did reserve the room, I'm not sure what they did on the form, but as time went on, it kind of morphed into something else.
Mhm.
So is there someplace in here, and I did read it, but I can't remember, if they have to notify you or a library representative of significant changes?
So the way that I worded it is that an application is only good for a year. So for example, if a group came in and said, we want to have a meeting every other month in your meeting room, after the year is up, they have to reapply. And so they'd have to recertify that, yes, we really are doing all these things and we really do agree that we're going to do all of these things. But a lot of it comes down to just enforcement and, chatting with the staff. I get the feeling that, you have groups that have used the meeting room for years and you just kind of assume that they're doing the same thing and nobody's necessarily checking in on that. And I think that, having a new policy in place is also a really good place, a really good time to be like, yes, we really are going to start keeping an eye, checking in on what's happening in meeting rooms and making sure that they are abiding by the policies. But like I said, it does say that they have to reapply every year. So they would have to keep us apprised at least yearly of what they were doing.
Okay, so if they had applied to have, well, an outdoor event, we're going to end up at the library room, some kids' activities, and then it morphs into, well, we're going to invite vendors and
Yeah, so one of the issues is that we do say very specifically in here that we don't allow sales.
correct.
So, inviting vendors, if someone were to say, if I were to discover that, they were planning on doing something and they told us, oh no, it's just going to be kids' activities, and then they invited vendors, then I'd be like, you've lost the right to use the meeting room unless you can somehow guarantee to me that you will in fact be abiding by this, that if I have an outside group that routinely breaks the rules, then we need to say, look, guys, we have this policy. Maybe you need to find somewhere else to have your events, much as I hate to do that, because we have a policy for a reason.
Mhm. So if you were to find out they did that, then you would have the authority to cancel their
Yes.
use.
And it does say in this policy that the library can revoke the right to use the meeting room.
Right, I did see. Yeah.
So that would be look, we let you try it and it turned into a flea market happening in the meeting room and you told me it was going to be kids' crafts. Your next event is going to have to be somewhere else because we have this policy and you have ignored it essentially.
Is there an appeals process for that group if they don't agree with you? What do they do?
It says so, and this is taken directly from the previous policy. It said that the library could essentially boot you for any reason and no reason. It was at the library's discretion. So there isn't really an appeals process for this. I suppose someone would go to the board as they would for anything else. But it says future applications may be rejected and permission may be withdrawn for future events due to violation of these guidelines or conduct inconsistent with library policies. And I mean, that would be pretty cut and dry. Like we say no sales and you had sales going on. That's pretty obvious. There's not a lot of gray area with some of these, which is another reason for making sure that we're very specific about what is and is not allowed in the meeting room, that it removes some of that gray area of, is that allowed? Is that not allowed? It now very much spells out what can be done and what can't.
I'm thinking we should have an appeals process, and I'm thinking that it should come to us as the trustees, which frees you up and gives one
Okay.
more layer of insulation so they don't go running the Andy. Just my thought.
All right, well, how would you like to word that then? Because right now we have the thing that says future applications may be rejected and permission may be withdrawn for future events due to violation of these guidelines or conduct inconsistent with library policies. And that's taken directly from the current policy, I should say. So that's not a change. So how would you like to word request for reconsideration of rejection may be addressed to the library board? I mean, is that
Yeah,
what?
something along, so I'm no wordsmith, but something along those lines would do it for me. Let me hear from the rest of the trustees.
Would we
Ready.
be notifying them that they may be rejected in the future at the time of the violating event, or would it
Yes.
be?
I mean,
in the-
they would get something, so if, I don't know, if, say there was an event on a Saturday and I came in on Monday and staff said, hey, they were lighting things on fire and roller skating in the meeting room, I would first check the cameras, you know, if it's something that I can verify through the security footage, and then I would send them a letter that said, you know, based on, you know, here's the evidence I have, and, you know, this is in direct violation of the policy, and you signed that you agreed to this policy, and therefore we are revoking your, you know, any future use of the meeting room.
Should there be a first warning?
I mean, I'm kind of a one and done in this case. Like, it's very, this policy doesn't leave them any room to be like, oh, I didn't know.
Right, right.
You know,
I think though it could depend on the situation, because it could be something very innocent that they don't even realize they're doing. And let's just this is just an example. The Brownies or the Girl Scouts are having a meeting at the library, just their regular, if they, I think sometimes Boy Scouts use the space, but so like a nonprofit youth group is using the meeting room for their meeting. And then for whatever reason, there's a sales transaction of some Girl Scout cookies.
yeah, and so
You
in
know.
that instance, I mean, there's the line between it's an egregious violation and
Right,
guys.
right.
So
Yeah.
that's where you get a letter saying, but I mean, that's why I wouldn't personally, I would not boot somebody for something like that. That would be,
Right.
you've used the meeting room every other week for 6 months, so maybe I need to remind you. But this is the, and which is why it says applications may be rejected and permission may be withdrawn. It does give me a little bit of wiggle room to say, is it that, or is it you were roller skating while lighting things on fire? You know,
Well,
but
you get in contact, you provide a warning, and you ask them to get in touch with you prior to any further action.
well, they would also, you know, so if it was somebody that had a recurring, I don't know, somebody booked 3 events or something, yes, I'd obviously speak to them and be like, look, if it happens again, we have an issue. But if it's somebody who's coming in from outside and is only doing one thing, they would go on a list anyway that, you know, I know when outside groups have asked to use the meeting room, that's one of those things that I get alerted about. So they would come to me anyway, and I could be like, look, you got your warning. You were told you couldn't use the meeting room again because you lit it on fire. I don't know, we're having a wild alcohol fueled party, whatever you were doing down there. And part of some of that also goes into the library code of conduct, because we have a library code of conduct and it says these things are absolutely not allowed. So obviously if it was something on those, on the library code of conduct that was a blatant violation, then that also, I mean, that gives you 2 strikes right there. But no, I mean, I'm not inclined to boot anybody, and I don't think that anybody that currently uses the meeting room, I think there are a couple of people that need some reminders of the guidelines, but there's nobody that I think is so out of line that I would, this just gives us the safety to say, look, you know, this is a group that has been abusing privileges, and we can choose to, I can choose to say, look, you know, it's not, this is not working for us based on the things laid out in this policy.
I do have a question on that same area where it mentions no raffles, gambling, or bingo is allowed.
And that's
So-
actually a state guideline for libraries, because you're not supposed, raffles are considered gambling and bingo's
Right,
considered
but with
gambling.
well, I'm not questioning the gambling, but if there's a raffle permit issued, so we're saying even if there's a raffle permit issued, they cannot have a raffle. in the
I mean,
library.
that was in the existing policy, so I can say, no raffle or gambling without a raffle permit issued by the state.
Well, the town of Hebron issues the raffle and bazaar permits from the town manager's office. And they haven't done it for a few years, but the Friends of the Library have conducted raffles and bazaars.
Yeah, and now see
So
that gets into the which is why it says that there's no fundraising activities except for those benefiting the library. Because that puts the
Right.
friends
No,
in a separate.
I see that, but it specifically says no raffles, gambling, or bingo is allowed. So that Friends of I think that kind of stands on its own. So I think we would have to say, unless legally permitted and benefiting the library. I think we need to be more specific about the raffle.
Okay, so I can make that note for
Yeah.
the raffle specifically.
Right. And then the artwork that is on sale in the library, I can't think of the artist's name, but are we getting a proceeds from that artwork sale?
I have no idea, and that was on my list of things to find out.
Okay, because we never sold artwork like that before.
Yeah, generally speaking, and this is based on every library I know of, plus the ones I've directed. The deal is that you sign an agreement with an exhibitor of, say, artwork, and says that, any sale of artwork, X percentage will come back to the library. That's often on kind of a case by case basis. If it's somebody who's selling stuff for $10 and you're like, 10% of your proceeds, it's like, here, have $1. But yeah, usually it's, you can sell something here, like artwork, which is different from more commercial sales, if it benefits the library. And that's where that comes in, that, you have no commercial sales or no fundraising unless you
So
benefit.
it's that, I think it's the last name Dougal. It's like on by the
Yeah, there's a
windows
whole bunch of
downstairs.
them. Yeah.
So I think we need to find out for sure, and I think the board would need to weigh in on that if we want to allow sales.
Yeah.
And
I mean, my
because the
fear-
assumption also has been made, and I don't think it's the case, is that all the Diana Tyler artwork that's hanging in the community room is for sale. And I
Yeah.
don't believe it is. Those were donations.
Those are donations.
Right. But when the question came up last week when we were in the library about the artwork for sale. And I don't remember who it was, but I was talking to a couple people and they had made the assumption that, Dougal's artwork was for sale, but it kept going, and that all of the Diana Tyler artwork was also for sale, which is not the case. So I think
and I
we
mean,
need
my
to-
personal preference is to say, no, we don't sell stuff out of the library, period, the end. If you want to buy a piece by someone who's exhibiting in the library, their business cards are over there and you can contact them. And when the exhibit is closed, you can go and purchase something. And that just makes things easier generally than having to worry about, okay, did you actually sell that painting for $200? And did we get our, 15% or what it is? And how did, who did that money go to and all of that? I mean, that's why I would say we just don't.
Don't get
So then
involved.
if we had a sign that was attached to the Diana Tyler, all that artwork, good Marianne, that artwork, that would be appropriate. That would cover any questions. We need to add a sign that says, this is not for sale. This was donated to the library.
Okay, I can do that. That's easy enough.
I mean, that would answer the question.
Yeah, but I mean, I think just as a general policy, I prefer to say, when I'm dealing with artists, you are more than welcome to put your business card or something that has your website on it, and people can make that transaction
With you,
outside the library and with you directly and leave us out of it. But this is not an art auction house. So you make that transaction separately and you keep the library out of it, basically. We're not selling, we're an exhibit space, not a sales gallery. So you can sell things once you've taken your artwork back down again.
or they can make a donation to the library for allowing them to exhibit.
Yes, but it's not tied to the sale of their artwork.
Right.
They're completely different things. Yes.
And I just have a couple other things under the page 2, section 2, application and charge for use regarding the insurance that's made available through KERMA.
Uh-huh.
That the program has changed, so it's not Tulip anymore.
Okay.
I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but I
Okay.
will send it to you tomorrow so you can replace
Correct
it.
that. Okay.
I'll send you the new name and if there's a contact to directly reach out to that. And then my last thing, and then I'll be quiet, is for the town of Hebron's use of the community room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was written anywhere in the old policy or if it was just a kind of a verbal agreement that we had. But it used to be that the community room was reserved for the town on Tuesday and Thursday nights.
Yeah, and I
that,
went back and double checked the current policy that's in place and the two before that, and it's not in any of them.
Okay.
That specifically is not in there. It just says
Okay.
that, the library, the board of trustees and the town, and then the
Right.
library association, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. So it must have just been a verbal policy or an agreement, but it was reserved for the town for Tuesday and Thursday nights. And that if anybody wanted to use it those nights, they would check with us on the specific date and then we would say yay or nay. The reason for that is we need to be able to know sometimes when we are scheduling meetings or in the middle of a meeting that yes, we can schedule a town meeting for, Thursday, December 21st at the library and have confidence that we're going to be able to do that. So I would like to see us try to get that back in there somehow. And I understand it wasn't written in a prior policy, but that was the understanding. And it's kind of, at some point, it morphed away from the Tuesday night. We lost the Tuesday night. Then it was just the Thursday night. And now it seems like it's not a policy any longer. So.
I mean, we can make that part of the policy, but what I would need from the town is as soon as you didn't need a Tuesday or Thursday, we would need to know that because, we're trying to balance how many users of the meeting room, and to be like, no, I'm sorry, nobody can use it on Tuesdays or Thursdays. And then have no way for us to know that, yes, that has opened up, 2 months from now, no, they are not going to need it on December 21st or what have you.
Like I said, the way we had done it before was if somebody did want the room, that you would contact us and say, can we schedule the room for Tuesday, January, whatever and we would hopefully know. And if we gave it up, we gave it up. But, and yes, we would definitely advise if we, as soon as we knew we wouldn't need it. But, sometimes we're planning a selectmen's meeting and we realize that the meeting is not, we're not going to be able to hold it in the town office building because of some issue that's going on. And we're going to have a huge public showing we know every Tuesday and Thursday in the month of March, we have the library because we have all of our budget meetings at the library. And then in April, Board of Finance meetings. So, and those are on Tuesday nights. So I think we probably could discuss it more offline if you want. But
Yeah,
just
I'm wondering if part of the reason that sort of that verbal agreement slipped is because of the shift that we have to the electronic room management software. And I'll have to talk to the vendor and see if there's a way to put a hold on. Because right now, say if you want to book a study room and there's nobody else in there, the way the software works, it goes, yep, nobody's in there, it's all yours, or somebody's in there, that's a hard no. And I'm not sure if there's a way to do Tuesdays and Thursday nights, the community room is held, but we may be able to release it to you. You know, like it's either that's a hard yes or a hard no. There's no, because it's all online now. It's not necessary. Sometimes they call us up and ask us, but a lot of times people just put the holds on. So I'd have to check with the vendor and see if that's something that we can do, that like, if somebody requests the community room on a Tuesday night or a Thursday night, tell them, hang on, we'll get back to you. And then we can check, and, you know, I would get an alert, and then we could check and be like, okay, yes, you can have it, or no, the selectmen need it, or what have you. So I'll look into that, see if that's a possibility.
so
Do you think-
should I be going into that electronic calendar and reserving all those dates in March?
You're already on the calendar for March. We already put,
Okay.
Claire already went in and did it. Like I said, people,
Okay,
but
good.
like if there's a date that you know that the selectmen need, like in the Board of Finance in March or April, yeah, go ahead to our calendar and just go ahead and book it. And it pretty much automatically approves. I mean, I get an alert that's like, hey, these people, because the system recognizes that, oh, it's the town of Hebron, or it's whatever it is. So I get an alert saying so-and-so has booked the meeting room, and I can go, wait a minute, I've never heard of you. Have you filled out an application? But otherwise it's pretty much an automated process. Saves us a lot of time.
So you think you can incorporate those changes and have this ready for us to vote on next month?
I will do my darndest, Peter.
Good.
If Envisionware gets
good.
back to me, I'll see what I can do.
Good discussion. Okay. If you would be so kind as to put the agenda back up.
Yep, give me just a second to finish writing my notes here.
Okay. Good discussion.
All right, that one goes away. And the agenda goes back there. There we are.
Okay, Poet Laureate, MA, talk to us.
I can't.
Okay.
I'm a little confused. Donna sent me something that there was a meeting there this afternoon, and I was not aware of it until then. And I'm also not sure that the meetings that were listed were similar to what we had done in the past. On April 1st, we had a meeting that was wonderful. Anyone interested in poetry was invited to the meeting and offered to read a poem, recite a poem, whatever. And that's what we thought was going to be continued in these meetings, besides the fact that these people would be invited to apply for the Poet Laureate position. I'm not quite sure what happened, and I don't know how many people may have attended or not today. Priscilla knows that.
So I was going to say, I can answer that. So we build it as are you interested in supporting poetry in Hebron? Are you interested in learning about the Poet Laureate program? Are you interested in being the Poet Laureate? Kind of a, everybody welcome kind of thing. So we had 3 folks there today. They had a grand time. They shared their poetry with each other. They chatted about their writing, ate some cookies. But they had a great time, and a couple of them said they were coming back for our other sessions because they had so much fun. And I know that so the information was shared it's been on social media. It was in our newsletter, inviting people who are interested in supporting poetry in Hebron, I think is how the newsletter worded it, or encouraging poetry in Hebron. And I understand it was also in River East, although for some reason River East did not include the Saturday time slot, which will be this Saturday. But so we had I thought it was a really good group, and they had very different styles of poetry. So they had they had a lot of fun.
Did
reading their
any of
poems.
them, did any of them take the apps?
All
Are they
three of them
interested?
did. All three of them
Now,
did.
could you mention the names?
Larry Zimmerman, Scott Ennis, and Marianne Steiner.
Okay, Larry's already applied.
Yes, Larry has
Scott
already
and-
applied. Scott and Marianne both took applications. There were a couple of questions about, process, and I was like, well, I'm as new to it as you are. But shared with them what I knew, and we kind of went over what the
But
ordinance.
they're going to attend perhaps the next two or one of
Yes,
the next two?
Larry was planning to come to Wednesday. Scott was planning to come to the Saturday one. He has something at his children's school on Wednesday, I believe, so was not able to come to that one. But so they're planning to come back. Like I said, they had
Do
a
we
good
have a
time.
deadline? Do we have a deadline for applications, or should we set a deadline for applications now that we're?
I would not set one at this point. We're still getting the information out there. Larry and Marianne both attended the first meeting, and Scott I spoke to at the holiday celebration.
Mhm. Yeah, he mentioned that.
And we've been aware of him and his poetry in the past. So I don't know. I think I'd wait at least until we get through these next two dates. I would not send a deadline.
Yeah, I told the folks who were here today that that we were in the process of sort of getting the word out and letting people come if they had questions, sort of about what the poet laureate was and so on. And that the committee would probably be meeting after the first of the year to figure out, the definite process and so on. And they were fine with that. So, but like I said, it was kind of fun. It was, for me at least, it was fun because they had three such very different writing styles. And so they were talking about, oh, this poem came from this experience, and then someone else would say, oh, I have something from a similar experience, but the poem would be totally different. So it's kind of fun.
Well, all three are very active poets,
Yes.
so that's good. Were any of the trustees there?
No, it's just me.
Now, of those that are listening now, do any of you plan to attend any of the other dates?
I know Meg had said she was planning to come on Wednesday.
But she's not in attendance tonight.
She's not here tonight, but she had said just, that she would
Okay.
to be there Wednesday.
All right. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks, Marianne. Gisela, policy review plans?
So that was on there when I started, and I've kind of left it there. I would like to see, once we get this meeting room policy out of the way, I would really like to see the board kind of go through the policies and not plan to change them or not, do anything with them except review a policy a month and so that everybody knew what all of the policies were and was aware of what everything said and was kind of had them fresh in their minds. It's something I've done with previous boards, and I find it really helpful. I think the board does too.
I think that's a good idea. You might want to discuss that with Pat. She has some feelings towards it, and that probably will align with what she's thinking.
Okay. I just, like I said, I find it very helpful that everybody, then if, I don't know, something comes up about patron behavior or something, everybody goes, oh yes, we just reviewed that policy 3 months ago, so we all know what it is and we don't have to review it and we know. Or the state comes out and says everybody should have a policy about, I don't know, computer use, and we all go, well, yes, we do, and we reviewed it 3 months ago or 2 months ago, and we all know what it is and we're all on the same page. it's just very helpful, I think, for everybody.
Good, excellent. Okay, let's go on to the CIP request.
So that is, hang on, next, where to go? So Donna, informed me I was not aware that even though, we're asking for something that was already on the capital improvement plan, the board still needs to approve it every year. So the library's capital improvement request is the paving of the parking lot. The one change is that, because, after talking with Matt Bordeaux, because of the timeline for the sort of redoing the entrance, and also the bridge project, it doesn't really make sense to pave the parking lot and then have those two things done, which will probably cause a lot of wear and tear and damage. So we're asking to, same dollar amount, same everything, but we're asking to push the project back a year. And the feedback I got was that the cost should not have changed much, if at all, for the paving. So that's not really an issue. Like I said, it was already on the capital improvement plan, so it's just going, hey, we want it to be a year later.
And whoever you talked to was confident the price of
The
$173,009.
two people I talked to said, yeah, that sounds about right. And that they didn't think that it would have changed much for paving, that costs for some things have gone up, but paving has not, according to the guy I talked to. And also according to Matt, when I talked to him, so.
And when is this due, Priscilla?
So
CIP?
actually, as it turned out, it was due in November. And like I said, it was on me that I did not realize that the board had to vote on it, even though it wasn't a change to a dollar amount. But Donna went ahead and submitted it for us with sort of a note that the board would vote at this meeting, a yay or nay.
Thank you, Donna. Okay, anybody else have any questions or comments concerning the parking lot pavement? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the 2025-26 CIP budget of $173,919 for the paving of the parking lot.
So move.
Second.
Thank you, Dale. Do I hear a second?
I'll
Yes,
second.
I did.
This is Sue.
Thank you, Sue. So it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye, and we will, for the good of the clerk, we will say your name and then tell us whether or not you agree or disagree. Dale,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
MA,
Yes.
and I vote in favor of it. That's 5-0. The motion passes, and that can be submitted. And again, thank you, Donna. And thank you, Drusilla. Library Plan of Conservation and Development.
So this is, apparently, as I learned a couple of weeks ago, the town is in the process of redoing a plan of conservation and development. And would like input from each board as to what they might like to see on it, and any ideas they might have, or anything that they are vehemently opposed to happening. I suppose that could be in there too. There is a deadline. Apparently they're hoping to have a draft of the plan in January. So this would be a good chance for us as a board to say, hey, I have these ideas. I have a couple myself that I would like to, kind of bring to the board and see what they think. And then if anybody else has anything that they might like.
I might say, since this is only done every 10 years, that very important would be any goals that we might have for the future, and to read what's already there and update it. That's the main thing. It's a 10-year delay, so
Yeah,
this
so
is
the
vital.
current plan, and I did send the sort of our section of it, the library section of it out. The current plan for the library is a lot of talking about parking, which You know, 10 years ago, there was not the parking sort of back that way that there is now. So it's very heavy on the parking and then goes, oh yeah, maybe one or two other things. So I kind of feel like maybe we need to move forward from parking, since that has generally been addressed. And I know I would like to see something about better lighting on not just the parking lot, but the walkways around the library. I feel like in the evening, I watch some of the teenagers head out at like 5 o'clock, and I think, wow, it's really dark out there and I can't see where you're going. And, you know, yeah, you're teenagers. I worry it's like having kids go out into the dark that you can't see. Or some of our older patrons, I feel like some of the exterior lighting on the building and in the parking lot is not what it could be. So that's kind of what I would like to see. We've got parking now, let's light it.
I think we should use the KISS principle on this. I think we should alleviate the 39 parking spaces in the current plan.
Mhm.
Set up some kind of a link between the current plan and our strategic plan.
Okay.
Talk broadly to
And
our.
that new state grant, the state grant that's going to be beautifying everything, will include some of these features.
Yeah, and that's a question for like planning and zoning. I don't know necessarily what that, I mean, I know that they're planning to redo that stamped concrete entranceway, from what Matt told me, and they're planning to redo the curbs. But I don't know necessarily what else is involved in that.
Well,
we
I
can
think
we can write and submit anything we wish, and if it's duplicated or not necessary at this point, the person, Michael Leary, can easily remove it or
Yeah,
rewrite it.
and he's actually not, he doesn't want like a draft section. What I was told is that what he wants is just sort of, this is what the library is looking for, and then he will write the plan as such using the input that he's gotten from each
I
department.
think
Right.
lighting is a major issue.
well,
Yeah, I mean,
again, it's all covered in the strategic plan. I think you're getting down into the weeds too much. Leave it
okay,
high and leave it broad. And we've
okay,
talked about lighting, and we've talked about max development back there and a few other things, the lighting over the bridge, the pedestrian bridge we've talked about. So we've talked about all of this. Again, I think you're down in the weeds. Use the strategic plan. We spent a lot of time and effort on that.
okay.
Let's highlight it.
I mean,
Then
I
that'll
can
give you a
forward,
10-year horizon.
I mean, I can forward him the plan and say, hi, this is what the library is looking at, and you know, can you work from this? Yeah, I can do
Well,
that.
just send them the whys, in my opinion, the wise decisions, what it stands for and how
Yeah.
we're implementing it and looking at it. That's
Okay.
just what I think we should do with it. Keep it simple.
I think
Yep.
that's a good idea.
I can certainly do that. That makes things simple for everybody, I think.
Well,
And
because we're considering things town-wide and what the appeal should be for the library. So yes, that plan would work. And if anyone has additional thoughts.
good. If anyone does, please get to Drusilla so we can get this moving to help Mike to meet his deadline. Children's librarian, the job description, Drusilla?
Yeah, so hang on, where to go? There we go. So because we now have we're in the process of collecting applications, I guess, for the new children's librarian. And I'm going to take this opportunity to remind the board that there is a drop-in to wish Sherry well at 2 o'clock next Tuesday, the 19th. She has asked for it to be very simple and very low key, so that is what we are doing. But I would certainly like to see some of the board there after 27 years to wish her well in retirement. And now that I've added that editorial comment, as part of the process of hiring a new children's librarian, the last job description was done in 2015. So I was asked to take a look at it, see what might need to be updated or changed. So I did that. Some of it is simple. As you can see, it's just changing. So instead of his, her, it's sort of gender neutral language. It just says there, which the town is trying to do across the board. Some of it, I thought it was kind of funny that the children's librarian job description did not indicate that it required regular interaction with children. Like that seemed like it might be something that should be in there. And then I tried to simplify where I could. So instead of spelling everything out, it just says the job is performed in accordance with the policies that the rest of us have to follow. So, the collections are developed in accordance with the library's collection development policy. And yeah, then I think I added, like I said, I think I clarified language in one or two other places, and other than that, it is what it was, just updated a little bit to make sure that we're in a good place to hire a new children's librarian.
All right, I have one question. I don't think we had MLS required before, and
Yes.
it's now required. Am I
It
right?
was in the 2015 plan. The Master's in Library and
Okay.
Information Science was required, and I should point out that that is something that the state feels very strongly about. We have to answer every year. We get a question, do you have a full-time children's librarian? And if yes, do they have a Master's in Library and Information Science? And Hebron is one of only about 7 libraries with a full-time head of children's services that does not have the MLS. But that was I have not changed that from the 2015 plan at all, or the job description. That is as it was. And, I should also point out, it does say the master's degree in library science and 3 years of library experience, including public library experience and children's services preferred, or an equivalent combination of education, work experience, and training. So that's directly what it said in the 2015 job description. So it's not necessarily a hard and fast requirement. It's a preferred.
Have we posted anything about the position available?
Yes, the position closes on the 15th, so this Friday. It's been posted. I have sent it all over creation on the assorted, listservs and websites and such. I have no idea what the number of applications is. I meet with Andy tomorrow morning for my regular check-in, and I'm sure we'll talk about it then. But yes, it has been posted, and we're hoping to get someone in as soon as possible.
Now, how will that new person be selected?
That is, so it is a town, because it's not a department head, so it is a town position. So my understanding, and again, this is one of the things I want to talk to Andy about, is that it will be sort of me and someone from the town, probably Andy, and I'm not sure who else will be going through the process. But that's one of the things I need to clarify. But it is, as I said, it's a town position. Since I'm the only one
So
that
that does not have a selection committee, including library board members or staff members or whatever.
Can I just jump in?
Yeah.
So I can let you know, we have not received an overwhelming response. So we don't have tons of applications. And Andy will be going over the process with Drusilla. But I would think that we would include on the interview panel at least a member of the Board of Trustees. In addition to, others.
We have a
That's it.
trustee.
And then I
who-
did have one question on the job description, the age for the children. I think you have 12 years of age in
Yes.
here.
Yeah, because that's
What about the teens?
So the
This
teens-
does not cover the teens at all?
Yeah, so the way that the library sort of breakdown, because the teens are on the main floor here, the children's library has traditionally not done any of the teen programming. I'm hoping that the incumbent will help me work on teen programming, but I mean, I enjoy doing it, so I don't have a problem that it's me. But their primary sort of their home base, the children's librarian, is upstairs in the children's department, and that's kids up to 12. So that's why I wanted to clarify that in the job description, that sort of your home base is upstairs, and that's the younger ones. The teens are down here in the adult section. And traditionally, one of the adult part-timers has done, it's been sort of the second in command, I guess you'd say, when it came to teen programming. You know, each of the part-timers kind of has their project. I guess that one of the part-timers has helped with teen stuff regularly. So I think partially just because the teen section is down here, so it makes more sense to have somebody who's already down here working with the teens as opposed to somebody who's on a different floor.
Did you need us to vote on this job description, or is it?
I
Online.
believe it needs to be voted on, Donna, so that it can go to the selectmen for their final vote and approval. But Donna can correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
That is correct. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, does anyone have any other questions of Drusilla regarding the job description and the proposed changes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the job description as presented this evening.
I so move. That's Dale.
That's Dale. Do I hear a second?
I'll
All right.
second. This is Sue.
Thank you, Sue. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, again, individually. MA,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Ann,
Aye.
Dale,
Yes.
and Peter says yes, so that's 5-0, it passes.
Excellent. I will send that off to the selectmen. And now we will reopen that one. There we go.
Okay, meeting schedule for 2024.
2024. So the board needs to determine whether they're going to keep the same meeting schedule. So second Tuesday or Monday, whatever today is, second Monday at 7 of each month, so that I can pass that on to the town clerk so that she can post everything that she needs to post in a timely manner.
Well, if there's a holiday on that Monday,
At least since I've been here, when there's been a holiday on that Monday, it's moved to the third Monday.
okay, just making that aware. I think MLK Day could.
Yeah, so it's the
Not-
second Monday unless there's a holiday, in which case it becomes the third.
You
Okay.
really
Dale.
should be voting on actual dates.
On actual dates, okay, hang on.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that would be January 8th, February 12th, which is Clean Out Your Computer Day, so I hope you're all planning to celebrate appropriately. March 11th, April 8th again. And that'll be your 1 week reminder that you have to file your taxes the next week. This calendar is great that Claire found me. It tells me all the weird holidays. It would be May 13th, June 10th, July 8th. There's going to be a lot of 8s happening. August 12th, September 9th, which isn't an issue because Labor Day is the week before. And then it would be October 21st because of Columbus Day in there. And November 18th, because we're closed for Veterans Day on the Monday, the second Monday. And then December 9th.
And then you add the January 2025.
So January 2025 would be the 13th.
Dale, did I hear you make a motion on those dates?
No, I haven't yet. I can. So move.
Do I hear a second?
Sure.
Thank you, MA. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
The ayes have it.
Excellent. That will make Fran very happy.
Okay, the strategic plan committees, the oversight committee, which constitutes Pat and Kevin, which I guess is Pat and Drusilla now.
I mean, I can call Kevin and ask him if he has a report, but
We'll leave that up to you. Do you have anything else to report to us this evening, Drusilla?
I do not.
Thank you. Welcoming, that's Dale, Emily, and Claire.
I think a while back I had discussed with Claire, and we felt that, the bulletin board downstairs was very welcoming. The staff is welcoming. I think we're really doing a good job in reaching out and making people aware of what's going on in the library each week.
Yeah, I will say I've had a number of people since I've started tell me how great, how friendly all the staff are. Which, I mean, I've seen myself, but I'm a little biased, so it's nice to have that outside confirmation.
So I think at the moment, welcoming is doing pretty well.
Good. Thank you, Dale. Integral, MA, Meg, and Kevin, who is now Drusilla.
Now me.
all right, integral, that poet laureate, if we can get that straightened out and moving forward, that would be good. Bringing in the Maple Fest in March, that will bring people to the library. And those are the two that come to mind at this moment. Where do we stand at the new getting the Wi-Fi, extending the Wi-Fi to the parking lot and so on? Where do we stand with that technology?
Let's continue this, okay? Then
Well,
you
that's
can go to
integral.
It is in place, and it is all Novus has to do is flip a switch, is my understanding. And they should be here on Wednesday, so they can do that when they're here.
All right, so add that to my list. I like it.
Okay.
Okay, safe. That's me, Sue Porter, and Sherry. Sue, I don't have anything. Do you?
No,
Okay, we'll go on to
I don't.
we'll go on to evolving, which is Gail, Ann, and Drusilla taking Kevin's place.
And that was the parking lot Wi-Fi is one of those projects.
Yep. We just got, I should say, the building guys were here last month and signed off on it and got the finals. So now we just need Novus to do their thing, which, like I said, they should be here Wednesday. So we'll be good to go.
Good. Anything else to come before the good of this group?
I just have a quick question, well, two, I guess. I don't see a director's report on the agenda.
And
Usually
that's
it's on-
because I put it on the last one, and then when I did the new one, apparently did not transfer it. So I have a big note, like you can't see this piece of paper. There's a big
Okay.
note that says, put director's report back.
Okay, good. So did you want to give a report or are we good?
I don't think there's anything except what
Okay.
was in what I sent out. I try to send
Okay.
everything out in my written report so that we don't have to spend quite so much time talking about it. But if anybody has burning questions about my report,
How is the circulation?
it's good. It's been pretty strong, pretty steady, I should say. you know, these days, a lot of our circulation is going to be ebooks and digital materials, but those are also steady. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with our circ numbers. And with, I do have to laugh. So one of the things I keep track of is the door count, how many people come in. And I go down every Friday and kind of check the data and make sure I enter it in my spreadsheet. And last Friday I went down and it said that 93,000 people had visited the library. And I was like, wow, we are doing really well here. I think I will be taking that with a grain of salt, but I found it very entertaining. You had 93,000 people through the doors. Donna, you had no idea the holiday festival was that successful, did you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, we thought we had 100 people, but what ended up well, no, that wasn't that was on the other event, the Harvest Moon, where they had to move the dancers into the library. There
Yep.
was like, you must have had a pretty big count that night.
But I
Yeah,
think
so
maybe we're taking that data with a grain of salt, but
yeah,
I do
yeah.
check weekly, and it's just kind of fun to be like, yeah, we had 93,000 people in the building.
Yeah. And then the only other, I just want to mention the email. I just want to make sure that everybody has been able to access and utilize their Town of Hebron issued email for the board members.
I
'Cause I
had
believe-
I had a long time ago, and then that won't accept it, so I guess I need to go back and do it again. But right now, at this time of the year, there is no way I'm going to add another event in my schedule for the next week or two.
Okay,
But I mean, that's
So-
where I send everything to, is to the
Right.
CTs. So
right.
I guess at least some people are getting my email.
So if anybody needs help with that, just get in contact with me and I can help you or put you in touch with Novus so that they can help you with the reset. Thank you.
Well, they can help me with my
Thank you,
email,
Donna.
period.
There you go. They can help you with everything.
Anything else to come before the good of the group?
Like I said, just another reminder that the drop-in to wish Sherry well is next Tuesday. And I should also say that the Ram Carolers will be in the library building around noon on Wednesday, on both floors, bringing a little holiday cheer. So if you're in the area, drop in then as well.
That's a week from Wednesday.
It's the 20th.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a week from Wednesday.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Dale moves. Any seconds?
I'll second it.
Is that Sue Porter?
Yes, it is.
Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor signify please by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Abstain? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. And
Thank-
happy
Thank you,
holidays.
Peter.
Happy holidays, everyone. Thanks, Drusella.
Thanks.
Happy holidays all. Have a good night.